7 o'clock. I'll call this meeting to order. Shane Stice, would you lead us in the pledge tonight, please?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, sir. First item on the agenda is the public comments. Now is the appropriate time for visitors in the audience to be recognized. Speak on items both on the agenda and general concern to the district. There will be a limit of 3 minutes for an individual, 5 for a group spokesperson. No speaker shall speak more than twice on any issue. Board is legally obligated to maintain confidentiality concerning district personnel, and therefore matters concerning district personnel will not be discussed. Is there somebody out there that's not on the agenda that'd like to speak to us tonight? Seeing none, we'll move to our next item, which is recognition of all state cheerleaders. Tony, are you going to do that, or is Allison? Okay. I think there's 9 of them. And a bunch of them.
Giggling.
Allison, welcome.
Hi. There's a lot of them. Okay, so I have 10 All-American, All-State. I have 10 All-State kids who earned it this year, which would be freshman Alyssa Drenkel, captain and 2-time All-State Addie Beardsley, Haley Martinez, Luis Batista. And for seniors, I have captain and 2-time All-State Angie McKinnon, captain and 2-time All-State Sydney Sterlingson, captain Camille Fowler, Lauren Jensen, captain Orrin Watts, and caller. And something really awesome too is the boys who got All-State this year have never cheered before, which is a really cool honor for them to earn that, especially when there wasn't a lot of boys in the state that got it. So that's pretty cool. That's all I got.
All right, Allison, anything you'd like to mention on the state
Oh.
competition?
Actually, yeah. So we did take 2nd in co-ed, 3rd in game day, and 5th in all girl, which actually our competition season has not ended. We have decided to move on to UCA regionals, which is a virtual competition, and hopefully earning a bid to nationals to go perform in Florida at the end of April. So
All
we're
right.
not done yet.
All right. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Everybody else tired of COVID-19? Mr. Beardsley, welcome.
Good evening, Chairman Corr, Superintendent Behringer, and Board of Trustees. It's the great pleasure of mine again to introduce another one of our great coaches who, from her peers in the dance community, have voted her as Coach of the Year, and that's Debbie Kovic. And last year she was voted in as 4A Dance Coach of the Year. And this year they competed in the 3A. Both our cheer and dance teams are 3A, but our cheer team decided to opt up. Our dance team doesn't have as many of the numbers that they do, so we decided to stay down in the 3A, and our kids did a wonderful job. But it's a pleasure for me as the activities director. I've seen Coach Kovic just grow and grow and grow as a coach, and for her peers to once again believe in her as a coach and all of that. It's my honor to present our very own Debbie Kovic as 3A Dance Coach of the Year.
Thank you. It's quite an honor to be here tonight. I've coached this dance team for the last 6 years, and it's been a changing dynamic time for me. Tony's been my biggest fan all along. He's provided us with some really great opportunities to perform, as well as a great studio to coach my dance team in. So I thank you very much for everything and all the support that I get from this district to do this amazing job. Good evening, Superintendent Behringer and school board members. It is my pleasure tonight to honor and introduce you to an outstanding member of our dance team. She's been on the dance team all 4 years of high school. She served as co-captain last year and as our captain of the team this year, leading us. And to add to her accolades this year, she auditioned and was selected as one of 22 dancers on the Wyoming All-State Dance Team. Congratulations, Ms. Sydney Ferrer.
If I could, Chairman Core, it was great when they did the all-state dance at the end, because our dancer, she was out there doing her own thing, where the rest of the dancers were all from the same team, it seemed like. And so they had a little routine going, and there was our Green River High School all-stater performing an awesome routine that was totally different than theirs. It was really cool.
All right, congratulations. Good job. Next up is recognition of our school resource officers and the Green River Police Department. Matt Mickelson, welcome, sir.
Chairman Core, Superintendent Behringer, members of the board, thank you. Tonight we have Lucas Todd. Why don't you come up here with me first, Lucas? Lucas is a STEM student for us, and Lucas designed something for our officers. So he's going to hand them out when they come up here. In his class with our 3D printer, he made him some pretty cool trophies, and I was impressed. We called him in and we had some other things on there and did some stuff, and then he whipped around on that thing, opened that computer up, and he did all sorts of cool stuff. So I'll just show you kind of what they look like. He built these, and then they're 3D printed on the 3D printer there in the STEM classes. So super cool, really good thing. He did a really nice job of building those up. So thanks, buddy. Okay, so we're up here to talk just a little bit about the avoid, deny, defend. We had some trainings going on, and every school and the central office here had a training already. We've got 2 schools still to go, but these guys came in, they took the time. So we want to say thank you to the Green River Police Department first, but then to the officers that helped out. Why don't you guys come on up here? So we have first up here is Officer Fry. He's coming on up here. You got his. Okay.
Come on up.
Come on down. Okay. We got SRO Hemphill. Thank you. Officer Forsgren's not able to make the day. He's actually at his daughter's dance competition in Utah. So he texted and said that he's on his way home, but he wouldn't make it tonight. So, and then we have Detective Kirkwood. So not only these guys help us with that too, but they're doing a lot of other stuff for us too in the district. And I just want to share a couple of other things they're doing. Through this drill and through this practice, we found out the response times now, and we've got those response times down really nice. And so by the time that we make the phone call at the school till they actually show up and are on scene to help, we've really cut the time probably in half, would you say, Officer Hemphill, since we started doing this? So it's been really good running through that. But there's some things that happen in the drill. Like I'll give you an example at our school. We had a student who was a diabetic. and was in lockdown in one of the wrestling rooms. And so we had to figure out, okay, listen, if this was a real event, what are we going to do? We can't just go out in the hallway and take care of that. So we had, we come up with some safety buckets that we're going to try to get going through the classes. We've got some ideas on what we're going to do there, put some granola bars, some waters and those kind of things in there for the kids to try to help with that. They also have been helping us with the parking lots. I know stop arm violations they've really got after that and helped us out in those areas, and bus loading zones. And one thing that's going to be a big change, which we want to talk about just for a second tonight, is on the 15th at Lincoln Middle School. We're going to start a new bus pattern and new parent drop-off zone. So if you get a chance, go ahead and look on the website. But these guys have helped coordinate that, help back up the traffic that's going all the way up the street, try to alleviate some of the problems that we're having with buses and crosswalks and those kind of things. So we got a really good thing going, which these guys are helping us out with. So just wanted to say thank you. We appreciate the support from you. Thank you as well for letting these guys go to training and getting them all set up here to keep our kids safe. So thanks.
Okay, I've had a request to move something up on the agenda. You folks have any troubles with me moving 7.04 recognition of student teachers to this juncture here, so they don't have to stick around? Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Jason. Welcome.
Thank you, Chairman Core, Superintendent Behringer, trustees. It's a pretty special time for a lot of folks in this room. It's kind of the end of a college journey and getting ready to begin a career. And for a lot of these youngsters here, they figure out, is this really what I want to do? So it's a special night. Tonight's the night we recognize our student teachers. We'll go ahead and go like this. We'll start with the high school. Shane, I see you here. Other high school folks, then we'll move down to Lincoln Middle School and take care of the elementaries. And Anne Marie, I figure you guys can take care of the order. So I guess we'll get going. Mr. Carroll, the bishop, is he in the house? All righty, you're up.
The bishop. Mr. Carroll, welcome. I don't
What do you
know
want me to say?
well, I don't know, but I do want to mention something, and I think you deserve a round of applause. Rick just started his 30th year as a head basketball coach in Green River, and the number of kids you've touched is just list upon list upon list, and bus rides. Have you figured out how many miles you've been on a bus?
I haven't, but it's been way too many.
It's got to be a lot.
Yep.
But anyway, congratulations on 30 years, Rick. That's an awesome accomplishment.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm up at the high school, a science teacher. I do some biology and some geology. Have a student teacher that actually started. We've been together 7 days now. He came to me from the University of Wyoming, doing a great job. I'm really getting to know him pretty well, and I enjoy having him in class. He's jumped right in, and I'm not one of those guys that when I got him just said, "Hey, good to see you. I'll see you in about 3 or 4 months or whatever." He's working with me. We're working together. Through the University of Wyoming, he's been doing some phenomenon-based 3-dimensional science education as far as the classes are concerned. We've been doing that with some training through the high school as well. So he jumped in and he's kind of doing the same thing that we're doing, getting his feet wet a little bit. Like I said, 7 days, he was in another situation and ended up coming to me. It was kind of a surprise. Got a call on a Thursday, said, "Hey, anybody want to have a student teacher?" And I says, "Well, let me talk to the staff." And the next thing I knew, Jason Foose says, "Hey, we've got a guy coming. He's going to be here Monday." I said, "Okay, I guess I volunteered." Okay. I'm not too far off on that, am I? Okay, good. Okay. But I was really excited to do it. I've had a student teacher in the past and really enjoyed that experience. And the student teacher I have with me is Ryan Royball, and he's right over there. And
Welcome.
and I would just say, just from what I know so far in those 7 days, he likes students, he likes kids, and so I think that's one of the most important things that you have to begin with. And so I think he's on track, and I think he'll probably end up being a great teacher. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Appreciate it. Welcome. Shane?
Hi, I didn't know I had to talk today, so this will be fun. I'm really lucky. I've never had a student teacher before. I was terrified. I didn't know if I was going to do a good job to help them out or not. But I kind of hit the jackpot. Garrett Scarence is with me. He's originally from Lander. He's going to the University of Wyoming, finishing up there. I think the proof in my classroom is when somebody makes something cool, who do they go to? And I had students making cool stuff and they went right to him. Look what I did, because he's helping them do it. He's right in there, jumped in day one, ready to go. He's going to be an awesome teacher. I mean, he's ready. So let's clap for him. He's awesome.
Thank you, Shane. Meeting will go a lot faster if somebody stands up. Is that all we got left?
No.
David, welcome.
Oh, that's taller than me, Shane. Superintendent Behringer, Chairman Core and Board of Trustees. We have one student teacher at Truman. Her name is Jenna Callis. She's doing 3rd grade with Jamie Olson. She's with us from UW. So,
Okay, great. Thank you. Anne Marie?
Good evening, Chairman Core, Superintendent Behringer, and Board of Trustees. We are so excited to have 2 amazing young ladies joining our staff as student teachers. And to start off with Mariah Howard in 2nd grade, we have McKenna Ullman, who comes to us from the University of Wyoming through Star Valley. And I'm hearing kids say she is pretty awesome in the classroom and are loving her. And I know she's got a great mentor here and is excited to really start taking over the class. She's telling me, getting excited and nervous, but she is on the track of becoming an amazing teacher. So welcome to McKenna. Our next one with Denise Klingenpeel in 5th grade is Chantel Jakeway. I have to be careful when I say this last name. Chantel's a Green River grad, as many of you know, and is working with Western Governors. And I think this is a sign that you're getting old. Chantel was a 4th grade student when I came to Washington. When did that happen? So Chantel has been with us for a couple of years now. She worked with as a paraprofessional, is in our leveled literacy intervention, and is now with Chantel in 5th grade. So we're excited to have her continue with our Washington family as well.
All right, congrats. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm Chris Nielsen, I'm the 4th grade teacher over at Monroe, and Jordan Banks is my student teacher. And so he's from the University of Wyoming in Big Piney. And so we're just having, honestly, we're just having fun. It's fun to have somebody to talk to and exciting in the classroom rather than just yourself, So we're enjoying it and just learning from each other.
All right, thank you. Is that it? Okay, thank you very much. Next item is the Senior Parents Graduation Committee. Thomasita, am I saying that right? Yep. And Laura Watts. Welcome.
I don't see him here. Oh, Mr. Heslop will stand in the place.
Darren, welcome.
Chairman Core, Superintendent Behringer, and Board of Trustees. First of all, I am not Mrs. Vicente or Mrs. Watts, but I did act on the committee with them, and I set some meeting notes beside you guys just to kind of keep you abreast of what we talked about. They're excited about trying to plan a graduation for their students and hoping that we're able to do so in the least restrictive environment as possible with COVID taking place, and we're trying to talk about those considerations and how to honor our kids in the best way possible. So take a look at those notes. I'd appreciate feedback from you guys. We have another meeting set up about a week from yesterday on the 15th.
And I would be welcome to share anything that you guys got to talk about and visit with me about regarding the notes that we took tonight.
I don't know how the other board members feel, but I have no problems with you moving the date, but I think the sooner you do that, the better off everybody's going to be.
Yep. Yep.
I don't know if anybody else got a problem with moving the date. I saw that's on here. The use of facilities, obviously you don't need our permission to do the facilities. That goes through Beardsley. And the fireworks, I think we're kind of all good with fireworks.
Well,
So you can pass that on.
I know there's a lot of things involved with planning something like this, and we would love your feedback and support.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, next item, give me a break,
All right.
please.
You're way too excited.
Marley Toulson, office at Green River High School, home run. Disaster begin.
Moni will be your direct supervisor. Our next item is approval of the agenda. We do have some changes, but let's get a motion on the floor, please.
Second.
Moved by Robin, second by Brenda to approve the agenda. I need an amendment to remove 7.03, 7.04, and 11.01. Motion to that effect.
So moved.
Moved by Rochelle, second by Ashley to remove 7.03, 7.04, and 11.01. All in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. All those in favor of approving the agenda with those amendments, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Next item is consent agenda item. Is there anything on here that you would like to move? Being none, I need a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Moved by Rochelle, second by Robin to approve the consent agenda items. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. We do have through a couple of items. The legislative session we know begins now on March 1st. They already messed up the first 6 days, so I look forward to the next, 32 days? Whatever it is. I'm just kidding on that, by the way. They work hard, somewhat. Discussion on the McKinnon meet and greet, a date in April. So should we just throw dates out? What's the 15th, IRS day?
It's a Thursday.
It's your anniversary. Let's do it on the 15th of April then.
That way my husband can forget. And he'll be
There you go. Does a Monday work better? Wednesday, Tuesdays are bad for me.
Monday's good
Monday?
for me.
Let's shoot for the 19th.
Okay.
Does that work? Okay, schedule that, Craig.
Yeah.
April 19th. Look forward to visiting with the McKinnon folks. All right, next item under
Something
Sure.
for that as well. So the Wyoming School Boards Association has set up the legislative forum for an in-person
I saw that.
March 14th and 15th. So the board will meet on Saturday, the 13th, and then they'll do a legislative forum and reception on the 14th through the Monday, the 15th in Cheyenne. So-
And you'll be at the board meeting, right, Brenda?
Yeah.
Okay. If anybody's interested in attending that, you can get the information from Brenda or the WSBA, and you'll need to make travel arrangements with Mary. So if you want to go to that, you're certainly welcome to. Okay? Because you'll be going down the day before.
Yes, Saturday.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Next item, consider approval of the certified resignation request. Dr. Foos, welcome back.
Thank you, Chairman Core, Superintendent Berenger, trustees. We have 2 resignations tonight. One of them is for Thomas Wilson, welding instructor, Green River High School. The other is Rachel Conder at Harrison Elementary. Thank you for your consideration.
Need a motion, please. Moved by Robin,
Second.
second by Brenda to approve the resignations of Tom Wilson and Rachel Conder. Any comments? I would just say that Tom Wilson's one of the first guys I met when I moved here in 1985. He became the head football coach the year after I got here. I worked with him for a long, long time, and I think it's time now that we can put Mr. Wilson in our high school Hall of Fame. He keeps saying he doesn't want to go in while he's still working. So here's an opportunity, just a little hint there. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next item here, a presentation on the Monroe Elementary PLCs. Jared Hardman, welcome.
Good evening, Chairman Core, Superintendent Behringer, Board of Trustees. Have with me our fifth grade PLC team, and it's quite the opportunity to present with you guys about Monroe Elementary. So Monroe Elementary, this is the third year that we have been in K-5 building. So before that, we were an intermediate school. So this is again going on the third year, and we have, as of today, 310 students K-5. So last year we had 320. So we actually are maintaining pretty high numbers for our elementary school. We also are the elementary school that houses all of the ELL students. So with that, one thing that we talk about at the beginning of the year with all of our staff is our mission statement, which is inspire learning for all, and then our vision, which is living the Husky way every day. So living the Husky way every day is about being respectful, responsible, and being safe. That kind of is our overarching piece of how we talk about together as a team. And so what I'm going to be doing the first few slides is just kind of talk about how our PLCs work and how we've established that over the course of these last few years. And then I'm going to turn it over to our fifth grade team. So one thing that we always talk about are SMART goals, which are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. So one thing we always look at is our overarching district vision, which is learning for all. And then our district mission, which is inspiring excellence every day. So some of the district goals that we've talked about are improve student achievement, improve wellness and safety, and improve communication and collaboration, which is why you're talking about PLCs. So one thing that we did also was we had the Black Hills Co-op come in and pull some data about what things that we are doing within our school and come up with some goals about how we can improve, because the whole work of a professional learning community is to improve. So we set some goals at 2019. It was that all staff members will have opportunities to effectively communicate through collaboration and purposeful planning. And then our 2020 goal, all staff members will effectively communicate student progression, goals, assessment, data points at least once a month during PLCs. So everything is kind of geared towards that professional learning community, as well as ultimately student achievement, which is our school improvement goal, was that 70% of our students will be proficient or advanced in English language arts and mathematics on the summative Whitetop assessment in the spring of 2021. So that is our actual school improvement goal. And then also to increase the mean students growth percentile, MGP, in our equity indicator to at least 48%. So our equity indicator are students that are scoring below basic. They compare those students in a cohort against other students in the state and see whether those students are growing. Our goal is to increase that number, so those students that are in that equity group to 48%. So how we do that process is all through professional learning communities. Now, at the beginning of the year, we talked about what were some tight elements that we really need to focus on as a PLC. And it's number one, we have 6 points. We have educators work collaboratively rather than in isolation. They take collective responsibility for student learning and clarify the commitments they make to each other about how they will work together. The fundamental structure of the school becomes the collaborative team in which members work interdependently to achieve common goals for which all members are mutually accountable. So this is, we're all mutually accountable. These are our students, and we're working together to really dive into what students need. The team establishes a guaranteed and viable curriculum, unit by unit, so that all students have access and the same skills regardless of the teacher whom they're in the classroom with. The team develops common formative assessments to frequently gather evidence of student learning, and then the school has created a system of interventions and extensions to ensure students who struggle receive additional time and support for learning in a way that is timely, directed, diagnostic, and systematic. The team uses evidence of student learning to inform and improve the individual and collective practices of its members. So again, we talk about this consistently and continuously, and as my team knows that we're constantly working at this because we're always in the improvement process. So we always follow our 4 guided questions, which is posted in every one of our pods throughout the school, which are: what do we want our students to learn? How will we know that they've learned it? What will we do if they've not learned it? And what are we going to do to provide extended learning or enrichment for those that have learned? So again, that's kind of the process over the last few years of what we've been building as a team. And so without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to one of our 5th grade teams who's going to share some of the things that they're doing within their classroom.
Good evening. I'm Natasha Clement. I'm a 5th grade teacher at Monroe. I want to thank you for moving the recognition of student teachers forward, so there's not as much of an audience. I was a little stressed about that, so I appreciate that.
We have about 450 people watching on YouTube. though,
Yes, I
so
love
you
it.
are on television.
What I don't see, I don't know. I'm just kidding. So I'm going to talk to you about my 40 book challenge that I implement in my classroom. It's one of my most exciting things that I do. A couple years ago, I read The Book Whisperer by Donalyn Miller, and she's a 6th grade teacher that teaches reading. And in the book, she talks about how when she first starts teaching, or when she first gets classes of students, they don't like to read very much. And I'm an avid reader. I became a reader in 5th grade, actually, when I found a book series that I absolutely loved, and I just went through them. And ever since then, I just love to read. And so I really want to push that on my students because I just know how valuable reading can be. But anyway, she just talks about how she gets these students and they read maybe 2 books a year. And most of the time, they're books that teachers choose for them and they don't get a choice. And so she implements this 40 book challenge. And so I decided I wanted to try it one year. So 2 years ago, I did it with my students. I start by writing the number 40 on the whiteboard. And I tell them that's how many books they're going to read. And they're just like, no way, I'm not going to read this many books. But they do. So it's amazing how when you challenge students to do things, they just jump to, some kids just need to be challenged. Of course, I have my students that read 70 books a year, way more than I do. I'm lucky if I get 39. But anyways, just students that don't normally read, I encourage them to choose books that are interesting to them. But we do have a criteria. So we have like certain genres that we want them to read. So they have to read so many poetry books, so many informational textbooks, fantasies, some biographies, just to kind of open their minds on, going outside what they're used to reading. And then we give them like 14 choice books. They can read whatever they want. The biggest thing that I find that's so enjoyable for the students is they just love to talk about these books. And when you talk to students about books and you are interested in what they're reading, you wouldn't believe how excited they get. And so once a month, I conference with each of my students, but once a month, they pick their favorite book they've read for the month. And we kind of, with COVID, it's not, as good as it used to be. We elbow it up, but they talk about their books and they try to sell their books to their students. And it's just, as a teacher, that's what you want to see. You want to see them enjoying to read. And especially with our new curriculum, it's made it so that we can actually have some freedom in that. And so every day we do 20 minutes of reading no matter what, and it's of books that they want to read. And I have students that maybe read 2 books last year and they're already on 15. And these are your reluctant readers, readers that don't think that they're very good at reading. So it's just something that we do in 5th grade that we're pretty excited about. So thank you very much. I'm going to turn it over to my teammate who's probably as excited as I am.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing us this opportunity to talk about the fun things that we're doing in 5th grade at Monroe. My name is Crystal Horn. And can you help me with the clicker? It's the top one.
You broke it.
Oh,
I think it's that guy.
keep going to book clubs. Yeah. Just towards that's book clubs. So a couple years ago, when the district adopted the Fontes and Pinnell program, the upper grades received a lot of training, but unfortunately, a lot of the curriculum wasn't ready yet. But we had a lot of training and we were pretty excited to implement it. So we talked amongst ourselves and thought, what could we go ahead and get started with? And book clubs was something that we could get started with because we all had sets of books. Sorry. So we kind of got together and we click the next one and talked about how we implement these book clubs. So we set up a structure. So if you want to take a look at the slide, we talked to kids about what book clubs look like, what they sound like, what they feel like, okay? We wanted kids to know that this is going to be a structured time that they're going to read together, but have fun and like with the 40 book challenge, be able to talk and discuss books. So in the beginning, it's very structured. There's a pretty strong framework. They have clear expectations. They have jobs that they have to complete every day. But the farther the school year has gone on, it's very student-led. I mean, you could come in at any time. The kids will tell you what their jobs are. They sit down, they create goals together. They kind of map out their book. How many pages would they be able to accomplish in a day? They complete their jobs and they have their discussions. Go to the next one. So here are some of their jobs. They're summarizers, word finders, character analyzer, questioner, prediction makers. And in the beginning, those sound kind of difficult for the kids to, what's a character analyzer? But like I said, as we kind of work through it, they get really good at analyzing those characters and making predictions, coming up with questions for each other as they complete their daily goals. And about a month or so ago, actually probably, yeah, in December, when we were asked to do this presentation, we all got together and asked our kids what they thought about book clubs. And it was really fun to listen to some of their responses. As you can see, a lot of them talk about it's fun to read with their friends. And I like the middle one, Athena, I just loved her answer when she said, you find Easter eggs. She read the book by herself independently, but then had a chance to read it again in a book club and have those discussions, create those questions, make those predictions. And it was so cool to see kids go, I didn't realize that part, or I don't remember that part. And a lot of them just said, it's fun. The bottom comment, I liked, Nathan said, sometimes you like them and sometimes you don't. And we talk about that a lot. Give it a try. If it's something that you don't like, let's table it and let's move on, kind of giving them that freedom. Okay, thank you. I'm going to hand it over to Dylan.
Thank you. Okay. I'll try not to speak too loud into the microphone. I have a tendency to be a little bit louder as well. Dylan Bird, the last member of this particular 5th grade team. Some of the great things about our book clubs in particular that we've had an opportunity to really get involved with have been an opportunity for the kids to really analyze the text, really analyze characters, analyze points of view, analyze all sorts of different possibilities when it comes to working with some of these different books. And the book clubs have given us an opportunity to do this along with the Fontes and Pinnell resources because we have a lot more use out of these things. This, for an example, is just one of the posters that some of the kids put together. It was a conflict poster. We were discussing conflict within certain stories. And in this particular one, it was a man versus man. They chose that particular one because there was a little bit of a feud in the book between a teacher and a student. And ironically enough, with this one, they discovered that there was also a little bit of a conflict that they didn't quite see later on. And one of my other students who happened to be on quarantine, so I couldn't get his poster here, had also done a man versus self with the teacher. The teacher, as much as she was wanting to kind of resist the student in this particular spot, she could not at the same time help cheering him on. The other side of her was going, well, go, yes, rise up, go against this whole thing and show me what you got with this. So it was definitely something that they got into, and they certainly loved these conflict posters that we put together. Oops, there we go. Another one of them that we ended up having here, this was some of our side characters in particular. This is also a book that they did something once again with the man versus man, and they used some of our other characters for this one in particular. This time looking at it from a slightly different point of view, but the conflict posters for this one were quite big. We have done some problem solution things with some different books as well, where the kids are able to break down just chunks, just parts and chapters that we would be looking at certain points in time as well. This one was a problem solution piece where Mark's dad didn't or wasn't around very much, and how they had to adjust to certain things. Then they get the opportunity to discuss these within their book clubs and compare with the other book clubs that are working on some of their different books at this particular point in time too. So once again, getting an opportunity to collaborate a little bit, share some of their books, and kind of go through some of the things that they enjoy. Then, of course, some of our character traits. Being able to take a look at characters and find out, okay, why is this character like this? What evidence do we use from the story to show that this is what our character is doing? This is once again one of our opportunities that we looked at from one of our books that the kids really got into. And they were able to kind of break this whole thing down with, well, this kid's not a bad kid, but he's a little bit rebellious. He's kind of a questioner. And is that a bad thing or is that a good thing? And be able to break those pieces down based on what it was that they were looking for. So thanks to a lot of the work that we've gotten a chance to collaborate on with the book clubs and our Fontes and Pinnell program, we've really been able to unlock a lot of interest in a lot of these new books. And our fifth grade students are really doing a good job of really attacking these book clubs and going after that 40 book challenge at the same time.
Looks like you have a few good artists too.
We do. Fortunately, they are better than me and they make fun of my artwork constantly.
Just a shout out to our fifth graders. So far this year, they've read 504 books. And actually, there's probably at least 20 more, so 524. So just proud of their work, and we display it in our hallway, and they're just rocking it.
Okay, so that kind of concludes. Thank you, fifth grade team. And if you guys have any questions, just a little snapshot of our school.
Who chooses the books? That curriculum driven?
So for the book clubs, we definitely have a big variety we got from the curriculum. But like Mrs. Horn said, we do pull like classics. So like Where the Red Fern Grows. We just read, some of my kids chose Shiloh. We just have a big, like we share them. And so we put like 5 out as far as the book clubs. And we have them in like groups of 4 or 5, and they kind of rank them from like 1 to 4. And then we group them that way. As far as the 40 book challenge, they choose their own books.
Okay. These are actually books, like
Chapter books. Yeah, they're chapter books.
Not Chromebooks, books.
No,
but
actual,
books.
actual
I didn't know they
classic
still
books.
made them.
I mean, there are some we get on like Epic sometimes, but no, they're real books.
Okay, great. Any other questions? Thank you very much. Very well done. Very well done. All right, next item is under bid request. Now we get to spend money. This is always,
We got Washington.
huh?
Washington's.
What do we got?
You forgot
Washington.
Anne Marie. 7.02.
I deleted her.
You deleted her? No, you deleted the next one.
I deleted Anne Marie, but I'll undelete her. Anne Marie, welcome. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Hey, pleasure.
Your
to
smiling
be
face,
here.
I can't see it.
Here
There
it
we
is.
go.
It's there. Can't delete me. I'm here. Good evening, Chairman Core, Superintendent Behringer, and Board of Trustees. I'm very excited tonight to share just a snapshot of some of the work that Tara Tolliver, come on up here, has been working on in our STEM program at Washington. As you know, this is our first year at Washington to have the STEM program, and I can't tell you how excited the kids are. Between Project Lead the Way, coding, I'm learning a whole new language here, by the way, Scratch Junior, Tinkercad, and Scratch, these kids are creating some amazing projects. And this past couple of months, Tara has focused in on learning a lot about the 3D printers that we are so thankful to have in our building. We have 3 of them, and it has truly engaged our students to a whole nother level. So Tara is here tonight to share some of her amazing work she has done with our kids and the learning that she has done to implement this, and kind of share some examples. And it was exciting to see the trophies made at Lincoln with the 3D printers too. I'm like, see, yes, they are an exciting part. So exactly. So Tara, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome, Tara.
Hi. Anne Marie approached me in September? Was it September? Saying you're getting 3 new printers and they're 3D. And I'm like, I have no idea how they work. So between YouTube and the wonderful video that MakerBot sent us, we knew where to get started. And the one thing they told us that would probably be the easiest thing to do would be to make like keychains. And so that's where we were starting. And then I got an email from my other teammates in the STEM team saying that the governor was having a tree this year. It was the first time with the Capitol building being back up. And so they were going to put up a tree. So I went to Anne Marie and I says, how can we do this? I only have 2 weeks. She says, talk to your 5th grade teacher and see if we can do that. So we planned like extra time, and it took us like 9 days to go from start to finish. Can you go ahead and move the slide, please? And so I started with giving them graph paper. Our machines are set up to print with millimeters. And so I gave them graph paper that was centimeters, and having them work with the converting how many millimeters are in a centimeter, and you can't go over this many centimeters. And these are some of the drawings they came up with. These 4, their Tinkercad came out exactly the way they had drawn them on here. And I have pictures later on of what those actually look like. Tinkercad is a computer program that we used, and it makes your 2D model go to 3D. It's all 3D shapes. As you get going, you can do a lot of things with this. This one I had to play around with because I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. And so I was playing around with it, and I made a tree, figured out how to group them together, made sure that when they're on the screen, it is flat so that when they transfer it to me, I can print it. If it was up just a little bit off of the program, I couldn't get anything to print. It would just sit and we would have a mess. I'd have my filament, which is our plastic, just dripping down. And so I'd have to make sure to stop and everything. And then the kids would take their drawings and they would find the shapes they needed in Tinkercad, and they would start to make their program. You can see the student on the left or on the right, he is making a gingerbread house, and he was so excited over that. And I think the one on the right is doing a coffee cup with hot chocolate in it. And this is what our 3D printers look like. This is actually printing the very first project that we sent through it, which I was trying to figure out how the machine worked, and they said to go to Thingiverse, and this is what I printed. He came in different parts, And when we printed, they come out in just a gray color. And we used acrylic paint, multi-surface, to paint our projects. But this is the one that I did. So he's all painted. And that was the one I showed the kids of what we could do. This is a smaller version of one of them that went to the governor. This is one, was a mess up. We didn't have Wyoming put onto here and it just swirled around. But we got this part of it. This one also went to the governor's tree and it had Wyoming here. This was a tag that was made. So that was one of the students that made the tag. This was the very first thing that I created with Tinkercad with a rectangle, the star, and the tree part. And that way I could show my kids what they would look like when they were printed. And then these here is just what our machines came with that you could print just to see if your machines were working. And this one was the one that really amazed me out of all of them, was the bolt and the nut. They were actually printed like this together. So when you take them apart, it actually screws together. I was amazed that it was so fine. And then we have the squares that we had in the chain. So the painting, like I said, we used the acrylic. And this is the completed projects. I had three of my students made coffee cups with hot chocolate, marshmallows. The one laying on his side is actual spilt hot chocolate. That was one of the pictures from the graphing that I had. You can see the two Wyoming one that went. We had snowflakes. These kids got real creative. And the gingerbread man, the snowman, the trees, they were just having fun. They got so excited that when it came to the time of printing, they would ask me, can I come in at recess and see how the machines work? I'm like, sure, come on in, I'll be here. And I gave them the days that I'd be in there during recess or when I didn't have any students in. And they'd come in and they were just amazed at how these worked. And then when it got time to painting, can I come in at recess? Can I come in at lunch? And so I had kids in the room all day when they didn't have to go outside. And they were painting their projects. And it was so fun to watch them being so engaged and so excited. And on our next slide, this was from the video of the governor's tree. And there's 4 of our ornaments that the kids got to see because Mrs. Klingenpill let them watch the video on December 10th that they premiered, and they got excited when they got to see their ornaments up there. And I only did the governor's tree, the ornaments with my 5th grade class. Afterwards, we brought in 4th grade and we started working with the tags. And that was one of them that went around, was the tag. And one of the 4th grade teachers come up and says, can my kids make ornaments for their families? So we're like, okay. So I said, scratch the tags, guys. You're going to be making ornaments for your families. Again, I had them in at recess time now for the printing and the painting. And it was very fun to watch them get excited. And next up is my 3rd grade. We are in the middle of a coding session with our 3rd graders. So as soon as we finish up that one, they'll be coming in to make something on the 3D printers. I probably won't go any lower than 3rd grade just because of the technicality and working the Tinkercad. I think it'd be too much for my younger kids. I would love to have them come in and do something, but I think third, fourth, fifth would be the good grade to have that with. And we just want to say thank you. This is all of our fifth grade students. We had some absent that day, but we want to say we are very thankful for our 3D printers in our building. Thank you.
Okay, any questions?
Looks cool.
Thank you, Tara. Appreciate it.
You're
Anne
welcome.
Marie, always nice seeing you.
Nice to see you as well.
I promise I won't delete you again. I got too many marks through my agenda. I'll make that excuse. All right, now we get to
Thank you.
spend some money. Kind of close. First item is consider approval of the district photography services extension, and Craig has spelled this out. Is there any questions on this? It's per agreement from 2017. So I need a motion to extend the agreement with Life Touch.
Second.
Moved by Robin, second by Brenda to approve the extend our agreement with Life Touch for school district number 2 school photography services for both the 21-22 school year and the 2022-23 school year. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, approval of extending the agreement with Photos by Jenny.
Motion to approve.
Moved by Brenda, second by David. Any discussion on this motion, which is the agreement with Photos by Jenny for School District 2 activities photography services for 21-22 and 22-23 school years? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Craig. Next, consider approval to roll last year's milk bid. That's a mouthful. Leah Kennison, welcome.
Chairman Corr, Superintendent Behringer, Board of Trustees. I would like your permission just to roll our current milk bid that we have with Meadow Gold through the Western Wyoming Community Food Co-op for the 21-22 school year.
Need a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Robin, second by Rochelle to roll the bid with Meadow Gold through the Western Wyoming Food Co-op for milk for the 21-22 school year. I have a real simple question. Is this meet legal muster?
It does.
Thank you very much. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, Leah, you're requesting to go out to bid for 2 combi ovens at Lincoln Middle School.
Yes. Not to exceed 80,000. The 2 that we currently have are on their last legs. So they're the ones that we use for all of our steamed veggies, our rice, our noodles, anything like that.
Okay, I need a motion to go out for an RFP for these ovens for Lincoln Middle School, not to exceed $80,000.
So moved. Second.
Rochelle, second by David. Any questions on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Leah.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Next item is consider approval of the bid results for the Central Administration Building roof replacement. Mr. Hamel, welcome.
Thank you, Chairman Corr, Board of Trustees. If you turn to page 8.04, 8.05, you'll see the results of the bid opening. For central office roof, we had 1 bid opening, estimate 250,000, bid came in at 207.
Is the only bidder you said?
Only bidder.
Okay, need a motion, please?
So moved. Second. Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to, I have lost my page. Oh, there it is. The roof replacement for central office for Bighorn Roofing for $207,875. Any discussion on this?
Where are they from?
Laramie.
They've done a lot of projects right here.
They have.
Yeah.
Yep.
And when will they get started?
So central office is somewhat, he wants to negotiate a little bit when it comes to the starting date. He may want to start early. Ordinarily, we would wait till school's out. Central office is a little unique.
Okay. All right.
So
Any other discussion, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is a request for the elementary schools intercom system project. Doug?
little more interest in this one. Low bidder was Marshall Industries out of Salt Lake City at 119,338. Our recommendation, my recommendation.
Okay, I need a motion, please, for Marshall Industries.
So moved.
Moved by Brenda, second by David to go with Marshall Industries for the elementary schools intercom system project for $119,388. This will be a summer project.
Yes, will.
Okay. Any discussion, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank
Motion
you.
carries. Thank you, Doug. Next item is consider approval of the bid results for the elementary intercom, which we just did. Next is consider approval of the RFP results for the Chromebooks. J.R. Williams. Seems like we do this every month.
That's literally what I just said. Thank you, Chairman Core, Superintendent Behringer, members of the board. Yeah, seems like we're up here every month, something regarding Chromebooks. This is for our yearly replacements that we have. We had 13 proposals. One of them was eliminated because it didn't meet our specifications. So we would like to award it to Archangel for $202,720. They had the lowest bid that also met all the requirements as far as the warranty and the fact that they had them in stock. So that was huge in our decision process. We actually called them and made sure that they had them in their warehouse and it wasn't a false promise. So they're the ones that we are asking to accept the bid from.
Okay, I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Rochelle, second by Ashley to accept the bid from Archangel for $202,720. We will receive 600 4 GB touchscreens Chromebooks, include a 3-year warranty, to include accidental damage coverage and Google Management Councils. Any questions? So the 5 bidders on this sheet that are lower than that price didn't match what we were looking for?
Yeah, so their warranty wasn't as comprehensive as well as the one that they had quoted us didn't meet exactly. I'm saying the value for the ones that we're getting from these guys are a better value.
Have we worked with these guys before?
We have not. They put in bids for other ones and they've been kind of the runner up for a while. And this is the first one that we're going to be working with them. So having spoke with the CEO of the company, they seem like they're a really good company to work with. So I'm pretty excited to work with them.
Okay.
And they brought in all of their the warranty work in house. So that should hopefully give us a quicker turnaround on repairs too. So
Okay. Any other questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You have something? Did you have something?
Yeah. I had a question for Doug that I forgot to ask, if I may. Not
Sure.
that it'll change anything, but when I was going through the bids for the intercom systems, one of the things I noticed that kind of bugged me was Truman's. 3 of the bidders came in 30,000, 40,000 range, and Barker and Associates came in at 104. Okay, yeah, I was just seeing a 3 times discrepancy in the bidders there. So was there a different philosophy in how to do it, or do you have any idea? Okay, that seemed weird to me that 104,000 versus 30,000 had some kind of different philosophy, I guess. Okay.
All right, thanks, Mark. Next item is here an update on the 2021 and 21-22 budget. Chris, are you bearing great news tonight?
You guys are going to be tired of me.
No, we're not.
Soon.
This is an extremely important part of our job, so we are not tired of listening to you.
Well, okay, Chairman Core, Superintendent Behringer, and trustees. What I'm going to do tonight is just give you an update on what's happened since the last board meeting. We did convene the budget task force and we held our first meeting on February 2nd. And we had a good turnout of over 30 people, I think, there. We talked about what our goal was and how we're commissioned to look at the budget and then come up with recommendations to give to the trustees who will make the final decisions on what we come up with. So we set the ground rules for the committee, how we were going to communicate and collaborate, and what goals were going to drive us. And just like any task force, we did our mission, and then we kind of did a review of how the budget is laid out, the different budgets, the different funds that we have, the sources of revenue that we have, and the uses of that exist within those different funds. So hopefully we have a good understanding of what we're looking at. And then we did talk about the legislative bills that are on the docket there. And just between February 2nd and tonight, there's quite a few more bills to talk about. So, well, a couple more bills, I should say. So, of course, I'll just recap real quick. Our main bill on school finance recalibration is House Bill 61. And since, well, right before February 2nd, another bill was proposed, House Bill 89, which is a proposal to cut an additional $50 million from school foundation. And who knows where these bills go, but the one House Bill 89, some of the items that they have proposed are cutting administration pay by 10%, cutting funding for activities by 50%, reducing PD days for educators from 10 to 5, which would basically cut their contract down by 5 days, and then eliminating the funding for all instructional facilitators. So again, they're pretty out there. There's another significant bill, House Bill number 77, which is a school district reorganization bill. And, you know, they've been talking about school district consolidation for at least a few years. They bring it up, but now they have a bill, and this would set up a process and set a date for the consolidation of the 48 Wyoming school districts to consolidate into 24 districts. There's some details out there on that bill, how they're going to do it. One representative from every school district would be the committee that would come up with that recommendation to the legislature. And then just the night after that meeting, we went back to the desk, and Senate File 79 did come alive, and that was the one where they're trying to implement Medicaid billing for school-based services. And so that one, again, has been talked about for a few years. And so that is also out there since that task force meeting. And then a couple of other significant ones. This Senate Joint Resolution 001 is the resolution that would change the Constitution to state that any Wyoming tax increases would be voted on by the electors. And then House Joint Resolution 003, I just saw that today, is where they want to increase the state land mineral royalties that go to public education from 1/3 to 2/3 for 6 years, from 2023 to 2029. So that's a new positive bill. There's your positive note. So they did do their 8-day virtual session, and some things there was a lot of bills talked about. So, but scheduled on the week of February 22nd is the committee. The committees will be meeting for up to 3 days. And this is when the Education Committee will be meeting. And so there will be opportunity for testimony on those days. And nothing is posted yet that I can see, but they will have opportunity, and all of these education bills will have been sent to the Education Committee. So we'll keep you posted on how that's going to roll out. The session reconvenes on March 1st, like Steve's already mentioned, and then our next task force meeting is scheduled for March 2nd.
Any questions? I double dog dare everybody to read House Bill 89. It'll make you happy. That's terrible. All right. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
And then if you get any information on how we can testify before those committees, could you make sure you forward that to all the board members? And I would also like to have Brenda, Robin, Mark, and David get a copy of the pamphlets you gave to us on the 2nd. Just put it in their mailbox. It's a pamphlet that was given to the committee. I thought it was well done. Rochelle, you have any comments on the meeting we had on the 2nd? I thought it went well.
I thought it did too. I'm like, I think you got a lot of good people in there that'll have some good ideas coming together. You guys presented great information, giving us background and how to proceed going forward. And the district's done a lot of work already going forward, looking into this, which we all appreciate. It makes it a little bit easier for everybody else. Not that this is easy at all, but a lot of forethought went into that. So we really appreciate that.
Yeah. Ashley, you have anything?
I don't really have anything else to add. There was it was a good turnout, and I thought it was really well organized and planned, and
Yeah.
I learned a lot.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. Next item, consider approval of the new policy Gbmb, staff grievances procedures, first reading. Dr. Foos?
Chairman Core, thank you. Superintendent Behringer, trustees. As most of you know, we've been working on this process for about 3 years, and this is the final policy of a group of policies that deal with staff complaints and those types of things. And so here's our first reading for the grievance policy. A little bit of background. This has been reviewed and approved by the Green River Education Association, the 2 trustees on the Super 8 committee, and our attorneys, Hickey and Evans. And so a lot of work went into arriving where we are today. So thank you for your consideration for the first reading.
Okay, need a motion, please.
Second.
Moved by Robin, second by Rochelle to approve on first reading, new policy Gbmb. Any comments? I read through it and nothing jumped out at me. So
I'd
that's
just
well
like
written.
to thank you for all your hard work on that policy. I mean, it's been 3 years, forever going on. And I'm, tweaking and making it better. And thank you for your patience and working hard on that for us. I
Thank you very much.
Long
And
process.
it was a good team effort there to get where we are today.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is consider a revision to policy HG-E, professional negotiation agreement, first reading.
Chairman Core, this one's a little trickier, but it's really a simple edit. What we are doing, we're basically going to reference the new policy on first reading, grievance, and delete that portion out of the negotiated agreement of HGE. And the reason why I say tricky, again, we had to get permission from the trustees on Super 8. We had to get permission from GREA and an okie dokie from Hickey and Evans to go ahead and delete this policy out of the negotiated agreement to develop a standalone grievance policy that you just approved for first reading.
Okay. Need a motion, please? David, second by Robin to approve this on first reading. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is consider approval of an application for BLM land lease for FFA project. Mr. Behringer.
So in order for us to move forward with the BLM project, we have to have your endorsement for me to sign the authorization, for me to authorize our application process for the land lab that we're working on with the BLM. It's a 5-acre parcel. There's a lot. That doesn't commit us to the project, but it just keeps the project moving along.
So there'll be more opportunity for us to continue discussing this.
Yeah, a lot more.
Yeah.
Right now, the BLM's on a 60-day pause, so they're not doing anything with this. So, but then after that, there's a couple years. So there's a lot that has to happen.
Okay. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Rochelle, second by Ashley to allow our superintendent to sign the application for the BLM land lease for the FFA project. If you don't know, I believe, and Doug, correct me if I'm wrong, is this off of Telephone Canyon Road in that area? Below the water treatment plant? Okay. Okay. All right. That's what I thought. All right. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. Superintendent and board comments. Craig, let's start with you.
Okay. I would like to thank our school nurses again. We last few weeks, we have done our vaccinations. We did round 1 and did round 2 last Wednesday. We did 125. They did 125 vaccinations in 2 hours, 2+ hours. But overall, our count for our staff is, we don't have an exact count, but it's over 300 people that have gotten the vaccination round 1 and round 2. So kudos to our county health department for getting that, and for our school nurses for putting in a lot of hours in the evening to get shots.
That it?
Oh, yes, and that's
All right. David, you got anything?
I don't have anything today.
Okay, Mark?
Well, thanks for everybody's hard work again. Be fun coming up through the upcoming budget stuff. We'll all go pull our hair out, I'm sure. COVID numbers are falling off drastically right now. I hope everybody keeps safe and we can get those down even further. I think we should see some letting up of some restrictions before too long. But right now, our numbers are really, really crashing down, which is what we want to see. So hopefully it all keeps going that way. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Mark. Robin?
I too would like to thank our staff and the kids. I know, talking to my grandchildren, they're very conscientious of what they need to do, when they need to do it, how they should do it, and they let me know when I'm not doing it. I mean, they're really been well trained, I guess is the only way I can say, to be cautious, to do things the way that their teachers are asking them to. There's been a lot of time and effort that's went into making sure our numbers start going down. So I'd like to thank everybody who's contributed to that and keeping us all safe. It is appreciated.
All right, thank you. Ashley?
Also, thank you to everybody for working so hard and doing a great job. Thank you, Mr. Heslop, for inviting me to be on the graduation committee. It was exciting to think that our graduation is going to look a little bit more normal and have some backup plans, but it'll be exciting to celebrate these seniors. They've missed a few little milestones, and so it'll be fun to celebrate them. And I think I've thought a lot. We're so lucky to live in this state, because even though things aren't quite normal, they're more normal than they are some other places. And this weekend, I know track was headed up to Gillette, and their bus broke down or just had some mechanical errors, whatever in Casper. And we're just lucky that we had Casper loaned us a bus so those kids could get up to Gillette and compete. And I just don't know that that would happen everywhere, but it was good to hear that everyone's so willing to help each other out. And I'm sure we would do the same for another district too. So thank you.
Not only have we have.
Sure we have.
Rochelle?
Yeah, I'm excited about the graduation, to hear about that and to know that we're working on something. I think it's, the kids deserve it, and so do the families. That it's been a long, I don't even know how long it's been so long, but I'm excited about that. And then I just also wanted to point out for the cheerleaders, I think they did an excellent job and stepping up this year. They could have stayed in 3A and maybe had an easier go at it, but they chose to challenge themselves, and I'm really proud of them for doing that and trying their hardest and giving their all. So thanks to them and their coaches, and congrats to Debbie again. That's a big deal. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Brenda?
Thank you. Just nice to see the recognition still happening, and although it is a little bit different, but the WSBA trainings are going very well. They're an hour every Thursday. I know, David, you've been on a couple times, and Andy is giving us some real insight on what not to do as a board member. So the training's really good. They'll continue through the 25th of November or February. Where am I at? And then CDC is doing well. Numbers are up. They are, the county is helping during this time with some of the funding. Their funding is down, and so that's really a challenge that we're facing there. And we meet again next week to see where our budget is going to sit there. But
okay,
other than that, that's all I have.
Thank you. I got a couple of things here. I too am excited about what the graduation committee is doing. I think that's just things that you just can't ever get back. And I do not want to see that 2 years in a row. So I'm excited about that. And like Mark said, we need to continue to be diligent so we can make sure that these kind of things happen. Reminder to the public that requests from the rec mill board must be in by the end of 1st of March. 1st of March, March 1, and you can pick those up here at central office. So if you have a rec project or something you'd like us to look at, make sure you get those in. And I don't want to put you on the spot, Darren, but I think I texted you over the weekend about prom, and then I found out today that there's a potential pre-dance or morph dance that may be going on. The public's wondering and asking. That's why I don't think I'm putting you on the spot, and you probably knew it was coming. Can you give us a little bit of an update of what we're doing?
I think the committee, that group met, we just need to find a way to yes. So that we can do these things for these kids. It's good for their, it's good for the school spirit. It's good for their mental health. Some of the things we've talked about. And so I think we are moving in the right direction with a couple of those opportunities for kids. Am I saying that right?
I do like the idea of having a kind of a precursor dance before we have the big show, which is prom. So I'm excited to hear that, because there's been a couple of people that have asked about it.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Somehow we need to get that word out. I don't know how you do it, because I just sitting here, I got 2 text messages just sitting here right now wondering why we can't have prom. So somehow that word's not out there. That
Yeah,
it's even being
that's what I read
discussed.
too. Of course, you can't trust a lot of things you read these days, but that's why I texted you, Darren. I hate to do that to you on a weekend, but so I got that question asked to me. So,
Thank
but good. So yeah, hey, the bottom line is it's on the table and we're talking about it, and that's good. Appreciate that. That's all I have. And we have no executive session tonight. So this meeting is adjourned. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it.